If you want me to self-scout, okay, my quarterback rankings, I messed up with Brady. I'll tell you that right now. I mean, I had him 9. I was wrong.
Where would you put him now?
He'd have been 5 or 6. I was wrong on that one for sure. Just amazing what Brady's doing.
Yeah, well, if you're wondering why Ryan is there in the middle of the start of this podcast,
he just wanted to be on.
It's because the Iowa education did not come through as usual. Texas beats Iowa once again.
Obviously, yes.
And we can't speak in Texas, okay?
Yeah.
But you can't turn on a microphone.
I know. It was a problem a couple minutes ago.
Did you hear what I just said? Did you hear the words that were coming out of my mouth?
You admitted mistake about ranking Tom Brady.
I did.
Number
yes,
9.
I did. Yeah. And again, in the day and age of nobody's ever wrong ever, and we're going to go down dying with our thought. I've always made that a point on even my prior podcasts with that other company I worked at to self-scout thyself. And I was wrong to have Cam Newton, Ben Roethlisberger, Matt Ryan in front of Tom Brady. I was wrong. Now, saying that, okay, just so we know, a lot of people would look really good in that New England offense.
Yes.
So don't start coming to me like maybe he should have been 1 or 2. No.
You said 5 or 6. Though, right?
Or 4. I mean, 4, 5, 6, anywhere in that range, but certainly 9 I was wrong with, okay? I'm admitting that. I was wrong. He looked awesome yesterday. We'll get to that in a minute.
These things happen in May when you rank quarterbacks. Like, you really think about it. You probably overthought it.
Right. Well, and again, let's be serious. The end of the year was not like Brady was on fire and the offense was just kicking butt. So, okay, I was wrong. That's all there is to it. Let's move on.
That's a nice way to start.
Okay, good. I mean, yeah. You mean
nicer than
shitting on myself?
Yeah.
Yes.
And criticizing my university.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I know. I had to do that.
That's 5 in a row over Iowa State, by the way.
5 in a row.
As long as you brought it up.
Okay, good. Yeah. Good job. Way to go. I'm happy for you.
I had a lot to do with it.
Yeah, I know you did. Right. Either way, Paul Burmeister's here. We got a good one. It's our Monday recap show. Please rate, review the podcast. Tell me how awesome we are, how stupid we are, or leave a question. And like I have said, we will get to it because we are going to have an Ask Me Anything type of podcast here soon.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to deep dive into 2 football games, the Packers-Vikings, and then last night's Sunday Night Thriller, which was a lot of fun.
Awesome
Eagles-Falcons. I mean, the last few minutes were amazing. So many things to talk about there. And then we got okay. Got that coming up. And then I got one thing to rant about with I checked the rule book. Okay. And I would like to state at Friday at Notre Dame, just before we really get into football here, okay, that Paul admitted to me that he tried sitting down and peeing, and it wasn't for him, okay? Just to further that conversation, just wanted to make sure we're clear on where we are there.
I didn't do it at Notre Dame.
Oh, you didn't?
Yeah,
I hope not.
Home.
Good. You did it at home. Yeah, your home toilet's always the place to try that out.
Didn't like it at all.
Didn't like it.
Yeah.
All right.
No.
Yeah, it's not for you.
Made me laugh.
It made you laugh?
Yeah. Made me think of you.
You thought of me on the toilet. That's
thought
good.
Of you before and during.
Yes. That's when I know I'm crazy. Okay, here we go. Let's start it off. First thing we're going to go to give me the headlines.
Yes.
We had a lot of headlines.
Some quarterback
today.
headlines.
Big news.
Big bad way,
Yeah. Ben Roethlisberger, out.
Out for the season.
Yes.
Elbow surgery.
Done. See you later.
What's
Pittsburgh.
your headline after that? Is it about Ben? Is it about Rudolph?
My headline is, see you later, Pittsburgh. The season's over.
Done.
And to add to that, I do worry if Ben Roethlisberger will ever be the same. As soon as I saw it happen, I don't know what you thought, but I thought of Jake Delhomme.
Oh, yeah, that's
right? He had it too.
Yeah.
And, I don't know if we know the specifics of the surgery yet. I mean, is it Tommy John? I don't know any of that.
Elbow surgery.
We know he's getting surgery. And
Right.
to get surgery means there's some ligament that has an issue and it's got to be repaired, right? So very scary there. That stinks. Big Ben, a legend, Hall of Famer. And, he's getting to that age and that point of his career where you do worry about what he'll look like. Other thing I was going to ask, since you're a little older than me, okay?
A little bit.
What's funny, too, here, I mean, the 2 greatest quarterbacks in the history of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Mm-hmm. Am I wrong? Terry Bradshaw hit a ligament in his elbow that basically ended his career. I think it was 1982. I'm pretty sure that was the case.
Wow.
And
late 30s.
it'd just be funny if, history kind of repeats itself in weird ways. But either way, a shame, and Pittsburgh is a mess.
Right. Big time mess. And a lot of whether he comes back to be the guy, it had to do with his own elbow. for sure.
Yeah.
But then Mason Rudolph. And it kind of comes in one way at a bad time for Pittsburgh because I'm sure he would love to have Le'Veon Bell
right.
and Antonio
Or
Brown.
some run game.
That would help too.
Yeah.
On the other hand, though, they are completely reinventing themselves offensively without those two stars.
Yeah.
New offensive coordinators, somewhat, in Randy Fitchner. He's been doing it a couple of years.
Right.
But if Rudolph comes in and plays well, no matter if Ben is healthy or not in 9 or 10 months, maybe he is just their guy and they make that decision because
could be.
Even if it's not completely reinventing themselves, they are finding a new way on offense. And if they find a quarterback in his young 20s who's good and has potential, that may be their next 10 years.
Right. Now, the big thing is, and you're right, he could give them the confidence. And again, this could be the type of injury where 10 months from now, Big Ben might not have a fastball anymore. He might not even be able to throw quite yet training camp. And Mason Crosby might have to take all the reps next year in training camp. We'll see the severity, and I will get the story there here in the next week or two as far as how bad it is. But the other thing that's interesting about that conversation, they're tied to Big Ben for another year. They gave him, the 2-year extension, and there's really no way out of it until after the 2020 season. And even with that, they can get out and basically eat $12.5 million in dead cap space. So it's not going to happen this year. There's no way they can do it. If they decided to part ways this year, it's going to be somewhere around, am I right here? 43. Or no, right now, 25 million. Okay. 25 million. So they're not going to do that. That's not happening. And that's the beauty of Big Ben getting a contract extension because now he has him by the balls. But a shame.
Yes.
Poor Pittsburgh. I really thought that they were going to be a refocused team.
Yeah.
No run game. James Conner banged up. Shotgun every play. Lack of being able to find a second weapon other than Juju Smith-Schuster.
Yeah.
Defense is all over the place. Russell Wilson was phenomenal in that game, but I have a hard time thinking Pittsburgh rebounds from this type of thing. Starting 0-2, now got to go to the West Coast and play the 49ers, who are 2-0 in their home opener. Scary altogether. I think it's night-night Pittsburgh.
What do you think about New Orleans for the next 6 weeks without Drew Brees' thumb surgery?
Okay, so my first thing I want to say, my headline, and of course, it's a shame. Let's just start out there. I mean, Drew Brees, first ballot Hall of Famer, all-time great, awesome. Don't like to see this type of injury on anybody either, and especially a guy at the end of his career. But the Taysom Hill show, I think, is what we should start seeing. I'm just going to clamor for that.
More of a mix of it, or him instead of Teddy Bridgewater?
What do we need to see from Teddy Bridgewater?
I don't know.
I mean, how many times do we have to see him throw for 180 yards to say, you know what, you're just a good backup, and that's it? To me, and I thought it was peculiar yesterday that Taysom Hill never got in the game. Mm-hmm. Now, there's two reasons maybe why he didn't get in the game. And I haven't watched that film yet, so maybe he got in a few snaps here and there and I missed it on TV. But we're trying to watch a lot here in the NBC viewing room. But two reasons, and you tell me if you think I'm wrong in my logic. One, Sean Payton doesn't play him because he goes, I might start this guy in the next week or two, so I don't want him taking a carry and getting smashed by Aaron Donald. Right. He's not playing. Or the obvious one would be he is my backup quarterback now, and I can't get hurt, and then Teddy Bridgewater has something happen, and all of a sudden you got to play a receiver or a running back. So I would think that's the logic. But I know Taysom Hill is like Sean Payton's baby. Mm-hmm. I mean, really, like his baby. It's his pride and joy. I've talked about this for really like the last 18 months. I mean, He is in love with them. This is his pet project. And you've heard him make comments about Steve Young and the transitions he had to make when he went to San Francisco and learning how to become a better thrower and all that. Taysom Hill, we saw this preseason, made leaps and bounds into being a quarterback, not just a freak athlete.
So why wouldn't he be the guy? I'm sitting here like wanting to disagree with you, and I agree with you wholeheartedly. I was driving in here to work today. I thought, why wouldn't they start Taysom Hill?
I don't know. I don't have a reason of why you wouldn't.
If for no other reason than defenses in the next 6 weeks, because that's how long Drew's supposed to be out.
Yes.
In the next 6 weeks, have no idea how to plan, at least in the next couple while it's still new.
Exactly.
How to plan for what Sean Payton will do. If it's Teddy Bridgewater, who's a nice backup, it's going to be a lesser version of what they've run the last 14 years.
Exactly right, Paul. That's exactly right. So you know what you have there. So, so let's go with a lesser version, or I'm Sean Payton and I'm really smart and creative. And
let's see.
The ceiling is exponentially You like that word?
Right. That's a nice one.
Exponentially higher with Taysom Hill. I mean, yes, all the creative stuff you can do with him with his running ability, his ability to throw the ball down the field with power throws. And let's not, and here, if you're watching on YouTube, the graphic here, they're scheduled the next 2 weeks.
At the Seahawks. Woo.
Yeah, at the Seahawks, the Cowboys the next week. I mean, I don't know if Teddy Bridgewater is going to make enough plays to beat those type of defenses, just with the normal Sean Payton, Drew Brees type offense where, of course he's not as good at running that offense as Drew Brees. I mean, Drew Brees is like we said, a legend. So
I wrote down as my headline, first to worst in the NFC South.
Ooh.
You go from the best team in that division.
Yeah.
I think with Teddy Bridgewater, you could make the case that the other 3 teams are better. Yeah,
well, Carolina is certainly making me question that right now, okay? So because Carolina looks like crap. I mean, Cam looks like crap. I mean, there's just no other way to put it. The Falcons, they're still fighting. Mm-hmm. I still think the Saints are the best team in the division.
With Teddy Bridgewater playing?
No, I don't.
Where would you put him?
With Teddy Bridgewater playing?
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't really love anybody in the South right now.
Right.
I still think I'd put him 1, actually.
You'd put him 1?
I think I would.
I think I'd put him 4.
You put him 4?
I think I'd put him 4.
I don't trust Carolina. I don't trust Atlanta either, and I certainly am not going to trust Tampa Bay yet. I trust Sean Payton. They have an O-line. At least they have some semblance of a run game there. But I think the play is to go Taysom Hill. I really do. We'll see. I wouldn't be shocked if we heard on Wednesday that Taysom Hill's a starter.
If they can find a way to go 3-3 in Drew's absence, I think that's a major win.
Major win.
Yep.
Just stay in the playoff conversation. You get hot late October, November, whatever it may be. You get him back, and they can have a chance to just get in the playoffs. That's all they need to do. They just need to get in the playoffs. They are the type of team. If they got in a wild card round, they're capable of winning 3 games in a row with that coaching staff and some of the parts they have on that football team.
Bears Broncos.
Yeah.
Strange game, awesome finish, especially if you're a Bears fan. Bears win 16-14. What's your headline with that one?
I mean, my headline is what the okay?
For which team?
For both, okay? For what the is up with your offenses, okay?
Yeah.
What the was up with that horrible roughing the passer call on Bradley Chubb? Okay,
right.
That was some bullshit right there. I just got to throw a few swear words out to get my anger out about that. I mean, truly, tackling a quarterback now, is roughing the passer? His head was up. He was trying to, not put his body weight on it. You could tell.
Right.
And to get that call in that situation,
terrible.
That was huge. Mm-hmm. Let alone, I'm still not buying the fact that they had a second left in the clock. I just don't know if I buy that.
I think there was a second left.
You think there was?
Yeah.
There is a moment of you got to, wait for the guy to get down and then call a timeout. I think they were very generous in giving him that 1 second. But, okay, I'll deal with that. But I do want to give Eddie Pinheiro. Yes. Got to give him some love.
Stepped up in a big way.
Phenomenal.
Right?
Yeah, definitely. Phenomenal. But I think those are the Bears. How can you not have question marks about the offense for the second straight week?
And for you, is it more about Trubisky or the way they're calling plays? Because I can't quite figure it out watching 2 weeks. I know I look at the numbers, and sometimes the numbers can fool you.
Yep.
But these numbers are exactly what they say. Trubisky had 16 completions, only 120 yards.
Mm-hmm.
And that's with the 25-yarder.
At the end.
To end the game.
I know.
So is he afraid to cut it loose? And I don't think that's the case.
No, I don't think it is either.
I think that the play calling is so that it's such about gadgets and motions and formations that they don't let him. I wish there was a stat for this. I wish they would let him take 5 steps and read intermediate down the field and see if he can find someone open and throw it. It's like they don't allow him to. His yards per completion and yards per attempt are as poor as any quarterback in the league.
I can get that, and that's a good stat by you. I like that. I'm with you, though, with what you're saying about the Bears. The Bears offense, what is it? This is kind of what I said after the Packers game the next day. Well, tell me what they're trying to accomplish. Yeah, it looks cool before the snap, and people are going here and there, and whoop-de-doo. The biggest play of the game was a speed sweep to Cordell Patterson.
Right.
That was really the only thing that caught them off guard all day long. I do think we kind of jumped the shark, okay, a little bit, and crowning Nagy as Andy Reid Jr., okay? Well, I was trying to say this last year a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think their talent on the offensive side of the ball is a little overrated as well. It's a lot of good, but I'm not going to sit here and tell me one player on their offense that's great. there's nothing great about the offense. And I think, maybe I'm probably including this and inflating it a little too, as well as their offense and being excited about it. But I think after 2 weeks, that's the thing that's jumped out to me more than anything.
Trubisky, 4.8 yards per attempt.
Yeah.
32nd out of 32 teams in the NFL. And I think a lot of people made the mistake, and it's only 2 weeks, so maybe it's not a mistake, but I think it's fair to recognize maybe people went in a little bit too much. But prior to the snap, and they won 12 games last year.
Yes, they did.
Pre-snap with the motions and formations, it looks just like what Andy Reid
is
doing in Kansas City.
Right.
What are they not doing from there that Patrick Mahomes is fantastic?
Yes, sure.
But what is it about what they're doing once the ball is snapped that's not allowing the ball to go downfield?
Yeah, well, I think the big thing is when you talk about the pass game, hey, listen, they don't have, McCole Hardman and Sammy Watkins and Travis Kelce. Those are game changers, let alone when Tyreek Hill's in there. They're game changers, and there's no guy like that on the Bears. Taylor Gabriel, pretty good. He has a little speed, but he's not in the class of the people we just mentioned. Allen Robinson, really good receiver, but more of a guy that's going to be covered and you can throw him back shoulder balls. He's going to catch 50-50 balls, kind of a good route runner, not going to instill fear in a defense.
Right.
And yes, when I look at them as a whole, Andy Reid's a master at designing aggressive pass plays. Not at designing something, let me see if I can get a 4-yard completion.
Right.
Andy would be like, oh, that's boring. I'll figure out a way to do something cool to get 4 yards. We'll do a shovel pass or just a little toss speed sweep, whatever it may be. But he puts pressure on you play after play with not only the players, but the schemes themselves attack down the field to where it backs the defenses off. And then the underneath stuff, of course, opens itself up. In Chicago, I just don't see that right now.
They either don't trust him or they're restricting.
I think there's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
I think there's a little bit. I don't think Nagy is as good as we all want to crown him to be. Mm-hmm. And I think Trubisky, reading between the lines, I would think there's something there with him and the inventory of offense that they can throw on him.
Right.
And that conversation started last year, and I think that's probably pretty real.
Cowboys 2-0. And
Ooh,
not only no
baby.
losses, but Dak Prescott is playing as well or better than any quarterback in the league not named Lamar Jackson.
Yeah. Holy offense.
Right?
Cha-ching.
Yeah.
He's about to be the highest paid quarterback in football if we stay on this route.
He's thrown 62 passes and only 11 incompletions.
Dallas.
It's hard to do in 7-on-7.
It's pretty hard to do. And, for Josh Norman to say anybody could do that was a low blow. And
Yeah.
Josh Norman got toasted.
Yeah.
It's called karma when you say crap like that. But Dak Prescott is through the first 2 weeks, if you just had to go who's the MVP of football or the most impressive player you've seen in 2 weeks, Dak Prescott would be in that conversation. The Cowboys offense, from what I've seen, and again, I'll watch this film for the Wednesday deep dive, has been really impressive. And we just talked about with the Kansas City Chiefs, every great offense puts pressure on you to defend the whole field. And that's what I'm seeing from Dallas. They're not afraid to throw the ball outside the numbers. They're taking shots deep. They got the run game to go with it. Zeke looked a step better yesterday. Dallas, I think, has clearly, through 2 weeks, is the best team in the NFC. I have no problem saying that. It's them and, I'm going to give the Rams their due because the Rams have surprised me as well. No Super Bowl hangover. They've looked phenomenal. But, yeah, I think Dallas would be the leader in the clubhouse for the best team in the NFC right now.
A moment ago, you talked about Patrick Mahomes and the Andy Reid offense and how aggressive they are.
Right.
And Dak right now has some numbers that are even better in terms of how you measure how aggressive an offense is that are better than Patrick Mahomes. He has a higher yards per attempt, almost 11 yards per attempt. I think 7 is kind of if you hit 7, it's okay.
Yeah, you're doing good.
And anytime you go above 7, you're really doing something.
Right.
He's almost at 11, and his completion percentage is over 80.
So that just tells you it all right there. It's not like he's getting little dink and dunk type throws that throw for these great completion percentages like you're saying. He's a different guy. He really is. He's a franchise quarterback. He's showing that he's more than that he's on the verge of superstardom here. And he's showing that he can truly, like the other superstar quarterbacks, can carry a football team. He showed it a little towards the end of last season, the last half of the season, into the playoffs, and it's continued right through the first 2 games here. And, you just think about the Cowboys and you go, okay, the O-line, Zeke Elliott, okay, Witten, Jarwin at tight end, nice combo. But then you start to go, Gallup, Amari Cooper, Randall Cobb, and then Devin Smith, another guy. They're like the old Raiders, where it's just they just want big and fast guys, and they just keep coming at you. And really been impressed with the Dallas Cowboys. Like, kudos to Jason Garrett for having the guts to get rid of Linehan, go to Kellen Moore. They've made it work. Kellen Moore is certainly one of the biggest question marks for me going into the season. He has been amazing at what he's designed so far and finding shot plays down the field for this Cowboy offense. And even the interception yesterday. I don't know if you saw Dak's interception. Pressure in the pocket, steps up. Somebody's about to tackle him. He breaks the tackle. He's throwing the ball over the middle. I think it's Randall Cobb. It's not like an egregious interception. He throws a ball, kind of running towards the line of scrimmage and puts it like, a foot behind him to where Randall Cobb gets both hands on the ball, but the ball popped in the air, interception. And so even the bad isn't that bad right now, and I think that's really encouraging for the Cowboys.
Michael Gallup out 2 to 4 weeks, though. How much will that hurt?
I mean, it's just one less weapon, but not a game changer. I mean, especially when you see the emergence of a guy like Devin Smith yesterday, you go, okay, he can fill that role in the time being. I'm not concerned with that. And 2 to 4 weeks, okay, 6-7 weeks, before he's 100% really back to himself. But they got enough weapons to go around there in Dallas.
We're gonna crown him?
Yeah. What's that?
We're gonna crown him?
I'm crowning the Cowboys right now. They're the Week 2 champs right now, for sure.
Turn the page to Damn Okay. You get your own segment on your own show.
Yeah, I mean, that's amazing, right? How did I get my own segment on my own podcast? That's amazing. But yes, we're going with Damn Okay.
Exactly.
That's my, Damn. How that goes.
I'm okay. Damn. I'm okay. Yeah, no, yes, I'm okay. The legal gambleizing. Oh, baby. I am Chris Sims. I'm okay. Damn. Okay.
Legal gambleizing.
Oh, legal gambleizing. Me and the English language.
Yeah.
We are always killing it. But I got some damn okay from what we saw on Sunday. Oh, baby. I'm rhyming today, too. Watch out, John McDonald. John, Giants lost. All right. So, first guy for damn okay. Yep. It's my buddy. All right, Kyle Shanahan. He gets the first one for damn, okay.
What's the number one reason his team is leading the NFC in points?
Cool, because yesterday he cracked the code. I mean, he cracked the code. You know how video games you can put a code in sometimes and had never die, right? Or back in my day, there was a game called Contra. Did you guys, nobody, you're not going to remember Contra. It's on the old Nintendo. It's up, up, down, down, left, right, BA, select, start. And then you got 30 lives, okay? Wow. Yeah, I still remember it. Shanahan cracked the code of the Bengals defense.
How?
How, I don't know exactly how yet, but I know this because I'll tell you that on Wednesday when we do the deep dive film, okay? But just watching the game, you could have played quarterback yesterday for the 49ers and thrown for 3 touchdowns. No question about it.
Guys that open.
I mean, the first touchdown pass was Marquise Goodwin on the oh shit play, which Kyle Shanahan invented, which is basically a fake run to the right, and there was a receiver instead of a tight end this time. They act like they're going to block down on the linebackers, and they come out and the wheel out the backside. The Sammy Watkins touchdown last week from Patrick Mahomes. Kyle Shanahan invented that play.
Wow.
Invented it. That started. Another screen for a big touchdown. But people open all over the field all day, let alone, their rushing attack was unstoppable. And that's the beauty of Kyle Shanahan's offense. He attacks defensive schemes. He knows rules, and that's the beauty of Kyle, really. Him and I think Josh McDaniels separate themselves in this conversation. And not to say that they're the best offensive coordinators in the league. McVay, Sean Payton, there's a lot of people in this conversation. But I think when I look at two guys that attack rules of defenses, if you play one defense too much and they get a feel for it, they know these defenses as good as the defensive coordinator, and they know exactly where to attack to have people's heads spinning going, wait, the coach told me my rule is this, and they're attacking the rule the coach told me about it. And that's what Shanahan did yesterday, which was so impressive, let alone, let's see, how many yards did they run for? 259 yards rushing. That kind of helps out the rest of the offense.
Numbers.
Right, that's college-type numbers. And they had 572 total yards. But that was an impressive showing. People are going to talk about Jimmy Garoppolo. Oh, he looks good. He's back on the mend. No, he's not yet. He's not, But this is great that they're 2-0, and he's still not playing to all of his capabilities.
What do you see from him that's kind of lacking right now?
Well, I just think he's still – I don't see a lot of big-time throws or, like, plays to where I just go, oh, wow, he's dissecting defenses. Even when, Shanahan doesn't draw up the most perfect play, he's sticking it into tight windows and making unreal throws into tight coverage. No, I'm not seeing that quite yet. Now, what he did yesterday, and I know what he said to Mike Florio, he's very happy with Jimmy Garoppolo's running, too, and just keeping them out of some bad situations. But this is amazing, and this is why I say, like, when you talk about Green Bay or the 49ers right now, their quarterbacks aren't hitting on all cylinders yet, but they're 2-0.
Exactly.
And you go, ooh, so when it all aligns, watch out. And so that's my first damn okay.
Your second one, speaking of 2-0 teams, quarterbacks who can run, Josh Allen.
Yeah, that's my
Bills.
boy, Blue. Damn, okay, Josh Allen. Proving me right that you're going to be a good quarterback. Damn, I like you.
Aside from the record,
yes.
What about his plays making you say, damn, okay?
Well, other than the first half last week where, he had some, like, full Tropic Thunder moments, okay, where you're just like, what are you doing? You're not back at Wyoming. You can't throw 50 yards across your body on the full run at Giants Stadium or MetLife. But ever since that moment, second half last week was phenomenal with big throws and some big moments. But yesterday, the biggest thing that I saw more than anything, and the Bills are impressive as is, but third downs in the first half, he was unbelievable in extending plays, finding completions. Really what got them out to the 21-7 lead in the game and got them control of the game was really Josh Allen's physical ability. And I just look at him and what the Bills are doing. I think a lot of Sean McDermott, the defense. But then Josh Allen is coming into his own. They got the right weapons around him.
That's
the
what
right
I wanted
offense.
to ask you about.
Yeah.
Because we're just praising the Cowboys.
Right.
They have around Dak.
Right.
The pass catchers and runners around Josh Allen, good enough for this to be sustainable?
Right. Good enough. Like, not to where I'm going to go as Cowboy level or anything like that. But when you go Cole Beasley, John Brown, and Isaiah McKenzie, right? And they're running the New England offense, so they want Wes Welkers and Edelman.
What do you mean the New England offense?
Well, it's Brian Daboll. He came from New England, right? So it's that system, and we know with that system, they got a lot of different ways to run those jerk and option routes underneath and do all that. And then they got some aggressive downfield throws, too, dialed up for Josh Allen, And he's got guys like McKenzie and John Brown who can catch the wide receiver screens where we've seen Edelman and Welker be so awesome in years past. So I think that's the special thing they got going right now. And slowly finding a running game. But I think Buffalo is for real. I chickened out picking them for the playoffs, and I'm paying the price right now. We'll see what happens, but I do think they are for real. This is not going to just go away. I'm not saying they're going to go 13-3 or anything like that.
10-6 maybe?
Yeah, but that is certainly a possibility, I think, with the way this team is orchestrated or put together.
My favorite damn okay to get to, because it has to do with the Chiefs, but it's not the Chiefs offense. Chiefs defense.
Chiefs defense. Damn, okay, I see you. Get down 10-0 in the hole, but okay, that shit stopped right there. The Chiefs defense is going to give the Chiefs offense a fighting chance this year, or the team a fighting chance. It's not going to always have to be, oh gosh, if Patrick Mahomes doesn't put up 35 and throw for 404 touchdowns, we're not sure they can win the football game.
Which he almost did in the second quarter.
That's how amazing they are. Really. Have you ever seen a team flip field position or flip the scoreboard as quickly as the Kansas City Chiefs?
Yeah.
It is amazing. And to add that onto that, that's a lot of pressure on the defense. Because when your offense is like that, other offenses now that are playing the Kansas City defenses, they're going to do shit that they usually don't do. Because they're going to go, we got to keep pace. I got to call plays that I normally wouldn't call here, but we got to be aggressive because, Mahomes, he might throw for 304, 4 TDs in a quarter, and we'll be out of the game. So that's the impressive thing about Steve Spagnuolo and what I've seen. They made all the proper adjustments, not only scheme-wise, they got some good people up front when you get into Frank Clark, and then big Chris Jones, let's pay him off because Chris Jones is in the conversation, for the second best D tackle in football.
After
Aaron Donald, right? And I would usually go Fletcher Cox second, but I know he is dealing with a little turf toe injury, maybe not quite all himself. But Chris Jones is a one-man wrecking crew. And other than Aaron Donald, he's the best interior pass rusher in football. He can ruin games. So you take that aspect into it, and we got a little quote from or a PFF tag for Chris Jones because they talked about what he did to the Raiders yesterday.
Unspeakable.
Go ahead. You read it.
Chris Jones did unspeakable things to the Raiders interior yesterday. That's really the main thing.
Yes.
Unspeakable. Probably the most dominant DT performance I've seen in recent years by anyone not named Aaron Donald. You just referenced that by calling him the second best defensive tackle.
He's in that combo. He is. He's a game wrecker to where he is getting to the point on second or obvious passing situations, third downs, anything like that. You better have a protection plan because if you think your guard's just going to hold up against Chris Jones, you're crazy. I was on the field last year in Kansas City against the Colts. They had the best guard in football in Quentin Nelson. Let me tell you, his hands were full that day with Chris Jones. He's legit. And then the last thing I want to just say about this Chiefs defense to go, damn, okay. Their secondary gives them a fighting chance for the first time in a while. They got Fuller at one corner, Rashad Breeland, one of the better signings in free agency this year. Tyrann Mathieu, of course, is there. The Honey Badger's there. This second-round pick, Juan Thornhill, out of Virginia, who's a kind of a physical freak. And then 35, Charvarius Ward. I always mess up his name. I'm sorry. I think I said it right there. Who's got some length and some cover skills, too, to where I go, ooh, if they have to match up with a team on 3rd and 5 and play man-to-man, they can do it for the first time in 3 years.
Aside from the personnel being better, what is Steve Spagnuolo doing differently schematically that you see as opposed to what they did last year?
Yeah, so I saw them last 2 years with Sutton. Too much unsound things, too many defenses, too much like to where I go, okay, yeah, you got every defense ever invented underneath the sun, but you're not good at any of them. Yeah. And you guys mess up plays and there's mental mistakes on a weekly basis or people just running free. They've kept it a little more simple at this point with just like a creative sprinkle here and there, like where, oh, okay, there's a single receiver over here and maybe the weak side linebacker goes out underneath them to take away the slant, like totally turns his body. I mean, just little things like that so far. And I haven't watched that film, and again, I'll get into that. But I just know from even what I saw in week 1 with Jacksonville, it's just more sound, everybody on the same page. Can't tell you how many times last year I watched plays with the Bob Sutton Kansas City Chiefs. The ball was being snapped, and guys were still talking to each other because they're going, wait, this is the 9th defense we've run on 9 plays, and I don't know what the hell I'm supposed to do. And then they're like, oh, yeah, no wonder they're running for 30 yards down the middle of the field. So I think that's the big thing. He's simplified it. They're better. Their personnel fits the scheme better. I like the Chiefs defense. Gives them a chance. All right. Got to read for my man, the myth, the legend, Mike Tirico podcast. Do you know Mike? Mike's kind of awesome.
Mike, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of the best in the biz.
What's
all right.
not to like?
Every Sunday night. Okay, because I get out of here after the pregame show. All right, I need a rest. They stay here and do some work. And every Sunday night, Tirico, Coach Dungy, Rodney, Florio, they recap the day. It's worth the watch. I mean, hey, Rodney, Dungy, they're going to give you some great insight from the things you see on Sunday. Full show available on YouTube. And then this Friday, because Mike's big time, okay, he's got Baker Mayfield. Okay, yep. So, I go to Cleveland. I go visit him there. I don't get Baker Mayfield. Mike Tirico makes the call. He gets Baker Mayfield. And also, that feature will be run this week on Football Night in America because this Sunday night, we got the Browns and the Rams,
Yes.
So that's coming up. So check that out, Mike Tirico podcast. He's the man, the myth, the legend. We know that.
You say Browns, Rams, I'm going to throw in my grandfather played for the Cleveland Rams.
Is that right? Wow.
When the Rams were in Cleveland in 1937. So I thought of that right away with Sunday night with Cleveland against L.A.
Damn.
Yeah. So
I didn't even, you know what? I mean, until you said it, I was like, I forgot there was a Cleveland Rams. And
why would you know that?
Oh, well, I know it because I'm a nerd and I list like football history. But
they were the Cleveland Rams for a little while. Yeah.
All right, so that's it. Let's stop. Are we going to stop playing the music for the Mike Tirico podcast?
It's with us for the rest of the show.
That's enough. That was good. I liked it. But let's move on, okay? It's deep dive time, okay?
Yes.
You ready? Get your scuba gear on. We're going deep diving down there, all right? We're going to go Vikings-Packers first, all right? Yeah. And before we start, I got to hear from my man crush. We got a little sound full here, okay, of my man Aaron Rodgers.
Your golfing buddy.
Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Let's play Aaron Rodgers.
I think we've had a couple good quarters out of 8, so we got a lot of work to do. The fun thing about it is, we have moved the ball at times very easily. I think we made improvements from week 1 to week 2, but the biggest thing is that we're 2-0. And I know we owe a lot of that to our defense.
Nice to be sorting through problems,
right?
2-0.
I mean, it makes life a lot easier. And we'll say this, there was definitely improvement from week 1 to week 2. And I know maybe the Vikings aren't as good as the Bears on defense, but the Vikings are still damn good. I mean, that's a talented defense with a really smart defensive coach. I think the first thing I would say, the start of the game looked phenomenal.
Yeah.
It really did. I saw a variety of formations and personnel sets, once again, that just encouraging. And then the marrying of plays. And, you might go, what the hell do you mean by marrying of plays? Well, you see one play, they run it, then a few plays later, it's a very similar look, but they do something off of it. So now the defense is going, oh, wait, we saw this formation, we saw this play, and, oh, wait, they're not throwing the swing route to Aaron Jones here to the left side. He faked the swing and then threw the screen to Jamal Williams. Oh, it was a 20-yard touchdown. See, that's what marrying plays can do for an offense. I think that was the good start overall as far as what I just saw from LaFleur in the offense.
Yeah, so then what happened? My notes here.
Yeah.
Green Bay's first 3 drives, touchdown, touchdown,
right,
touchdown.
Yes.
Next 11 drives, just a mashup of turnovers and punts.
That's it. Well, I think that's where we start. The turnovers, that was a real thing. I mean, whether we get in, they're driving again. They're up 21-7. They're on the 30-yard line going in field goal territory. Get a first down. Geronimo Allison fumbles, trying to get an extra few yards. Minnesota gets the ball back. We had the Aaron Rodgers fumbled snap at one point on the shotgun snap. Minnesota recovered that. I believe I'm even missing one other mistake as far as what it was. I'm getting lost in my notes overall, but they made some self-inflicting mistakes, along with Minnesota being a good defense and giving them some issues altogether.
What had more to do with those 11 possessions in a row, no points?
Yeah, okay. Other than, like there's the blatant turnovers, right? If we were just going to talk about that aspect of it, that certainly hurt things. But I think the other thing I would look at, and this is my guy right here.
Yeah.
I don't think Aaron Rodgers was his best yesterday. I don't. I mean, I think it's for the second week in a row. I don't even know how to start with this conversation. Aaron Rodgers, I think, is my big thing, and I wrote this on the bottom there.
Yeah.
I wrote, he's got to play it by the book a little bit more. He is not as elusive and as fast as he once was. I said Rodgers didn't play great, and I wrote something on the bottom just that the Vikings did some things schematically that I don't think the Packers were expecting. And the big thing was a lot more too deep safety looks. I think the game plan from what I saw and being able to put myself into the shoes of this offense and knowing it a little bit because of Shanahan and McVay and everything like that, I think they thought they ran a lot of plays and motioning across. Oh, okay, we got zone. We want to run this play action pass against zone. Well, Minnesota, 99 out of 100 times when they run a zone, it's a single safety zone defense. And this game, they made it look like it was going to be single safety. The motion went across, and then right as the snap came, they went to too deep.
Self-scouted
Half. They self-scouted themselves. This is the second week in a row I thought Mike Zimmer did a good job of changing coverages and just being a little bit more unpredictable with what he does on the defensive side. And I think that threw the Packers offense for a loop as well.
You also have written down here that you'd like to see Aaron be a little more aggressive.
Yeah, I do. All right, so let's get into you. Everybody want to know what happened to the Aaron Rodgers-LaFleur little spat we saw on the sidelines? I saw it. I know what happened. Okay, it's a design rollout to the right. Okay, and just if everybody can kind of put yourself in the quarterback shoes here. You're in the shotgun, you're Aaron Rodgers. There's 3 receivers to the right. You got one receiver to your left. They do a design rollout to the right. The 2 outside guys run just clear go routes. Jimmy Graham's the inside of the 3 guys, okay? He runs like a 10-yard out. Coverage is somewhat tight. I can understand. Now, it is Aaron Rodgers, and I would say just throw a piss missile in there, and you'll hit him in the chest, and it'll be a completion. But it was tight, and he didn't want to do it. So now, he doesn't really like that. He sets up in the pocket, if everybody can remember the play, and he's got a backside in cut. And I can't remember if it's Geronimo Allison here or Scantling. I can't remember. So either way, it's about an 18-yard backside in cut. It's there. It's there to be had. You're Aaron freaking Rodgers. You're the most accurate quarterback I've ever seen. You got the strongest arm I've ever seen. Mm-hmm. He's got to throw it in there. He's a little too careful. And I think LaFleur, and you could see it on film on the sidelines, he kind of, gives it. He's got his play sheet and gives it like, what the hell? Throw it. He was there. And then, you see Rodgers kind of say, it looks like he moused like, what the hell you want me to do? And I want to be like, hey, Aaron, I'm your best buddy in the whole world. I want you to throw it to that guy that you didn't want to throw it to there, and you threw it away. I just think he was a little careful there. I think there was a few plays within the game, too, where, and this is where I get back to the comments of play it by the book, where he might have had the 10-yard out route. Just drop back, take 5 steps. Devontae Adams is open for a 10-yard gain. Hit him. You can do it in your sleep. You can do eyes closed. You'll hit it. But he kind of danced around the pocket, looking for more, maybe wanting to be more aggressive and find a bigger play. I don't know what his logic is there, but I do think some normal completions within just the normal rhythm of the offense were there to be had, and he turned them down. Now,
is this brand new?
It's not brand new. It's a little bit of a bad habit he's picked up because of Mike McCarthy, because of lack of weapons in his offense. And because he's so freaking talented, he would go, oh, okay, there's a 5-yard completion, but okay, I can dance around and buy some times and I'll find us 20 here, okay? And he's also been scarred by, man, I threw a lot of these 10-yard outs that Chris is talking about, right? And guys weren't open, and I threw them in there, and bad things happened. Like whether the ball got tipped in the air for an interception or it was an incompletion on a 3rd and 7, and he just said, I'm good enough to move around and wait for something, and I'll make another throw, just like we've seen Aaron Rodgers do 9 million times, right? Yeah. So I do think he's got to trust the offense a little bit more, all right? And I do think there was a number, I'm going to say a handful of plays where I go, no, Aaron, you got to stand there, first hitch, throw the ball, the guy was open, and make it happen. And I think that was part of that stalling process you talked about with the 11 straight drives as well.
So you noticed a couple of concerns, articulated very well.
Yep.
I'm sitting here thinking.
Had some 3rd and 4th downs stopped on short yardage run situations too. You asked me what I couldn't come up with what happened in some of the drives.
Right.
They had a 3rd and 1 toss play. Aaron Jones made a horrible cut. The hole's there. He's going to get the first down. He doesn't get it, and then they got stopped on a 4th and 1 as well.
Right.
So those are game changers.
Yeah.
So they had a chance to really almost put the game in like a 28-7 or 35-10, type of game and really control it. But because they had some of the turnovers and they didn't convert those 3rd and 4th downs,
right.
Hey, LaFleur, I'll say this to him if I'm going to nitpick with him. 2nd week in a row, he's let the emotions get the best of him. He's up 21-7. It's 4th and 1. You got a great field goal kicker. Kick it. You got a great defense now. There's no reason anymore. Just like in week 1, he challenge flagged on the offensive pass interference. Remember the comeback by in Chicago on his own sideline? Like, don't let your young coach emotions get to you and do stupid things. That's all I would say.
Before we get further in this deep dive, Vikings-Packers, as for those couple of concerns that you noticed about Aaron, not as elusive.
Right.
And just, maybe for this game, or maybe it's a little bit of a pattern.
Yeah.
Not as aggressive as you'd like. Between the elusive and aggressive, which one concerns you more looking down the road?
Well, I guess the more concerning would be the aggressive, or not just taking what's there to have the confidence in the offense. I think long term that's what's going to get him in trouble more than anything. Now, I think, yes, he's Aaron Rodgers. He's one of the greatest athletes, great feet, a guy that verges on running a high 4.5 in the 40, can really run that way. But, he's getting to the age where you're not going to be able to run around the edge against Daniel Hunter or, Everson Griffin anymore and then think you're going to, outrun them and set up and make those type of throws. His mobility is still phenomenal, but I'm just saying, what is he? About to be 35? Like, he can't move like he used to.
Right.
And I do notice just a slight little tick, less in his overall speed. So, but the big thing for me is more trust the offense. And when there's those 5 and 10-yard completions there to be had, you can't turn them down because you just can't guarantee that something else is going to be there that's going to be bigger or better.
And it's only 2 weeks of playing with this new system after over a decade of playing in one. So I would imagine, I'm putting myself in that spot, which I don't know if I should or shouldn't do, but the aggression and the confidence to cut it loose will probably come as he gets more used.
I think that's very
fair.
fair.
More used to the new way of play calling, the new way of running plays.
I think that's very fair. Exactly right. And, the other thing, Again, they are 2-0. The defense is phenomenal.
First-class problem.
And they're running the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, Aaron Jones, 23 rushes for 116 yards.
Which is
phenomenal.
really, really nice.
Without a run over 15 yards. So that tells you that it was a consistent 5 here, 6 here, 5 here, 6 here. And that's what I like. And then the fact that they're building on that, and Rodgers will get comfortable and just find one more guy other than Davante Adams.
Right.
Because when they roll to Davante Adams and he's taken away, there's nobody in the trust tree with me yet there, or I'm sure with Aaron Rodgers to where he goes, oh, I feel good, I'll just play this matchup.
You mentioned the Green Bay defense, and we can all watch the game on TV,
Yes.
look at the numbers and say, boy, they are a lot better than they have been. You explained very well how Kansas City's defense has gotten better this year with personnel.
Right.
And with making it a little more simple under Steve Spagnuolo, what they're doing.
Definitely.
I want the same kind of understanding of Green Bay defense.
Right.
I can see their production's better. What are they doing that's better?
Right. Well, Mike Pettin, the first thing I'll say, he is creative. So he's very good at throwing you a few Rex Ryan curveball blitzes or even a coverage and zone where you go, oh, he's taken something away here that he's seen formationally. He's very good at that. But I think more than anything, what I'll just give credit to right now, and I think Mike Pettin's a hell of a coach, their Jimmies and their Joes are damn good. They're shining more than the X's and the O's, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he has confidence in his corners and his secondary to go, oh, no, Jair, get in Adam Thielen's face and shut him down man-to-man. And then I'll play some coverage over here to the bunch set. But Jair Alexander is verging on a really top-end elite corner to where I think they can start doing like Darrelle Revis type stuff, where they can just go, you play him man, and we're going to use these other 5 guys in the secondary to mess with the other side of the field.
Yeah.
And they toy with that. Kevin King is phenomenal in coverage, okay? And then you get into Adrian Amos and Darnell Savage.
They've invested a lot of early draft picks the last
really have.
3 years in the defensive backfield.
They have. They're active up front. They move around. They stem into different type of looks. Oh, it's the bear front. Next time it's the under front. Next time it's the shade 3 technique. And, you know, I don't mean to get too technically, but just trust me, they're changing their looks up front, let alone they got some beasts up there. When you just talk about Kenny Clark and Preston Smith and Zadarius Smith and some of the other guys that go along, Montravius Adams, they're good. And then you got guys like Rashawn Gary coming in after. So he's got talent. He's got the right scheme. You know, does little things like, oh, you know, sees a bunch set and, oh, I know like Minnesota might like to run out of this bunch set, a little quick slant underneath. Oh, the defense end drop there. It's not there. You're not going to get it. Those are little things I look at to go, ooh, they're well coached. They know what to expect. Mm-hmm. Now, the other issue is this, though. Minnesota's pass offense sucks.
Kirk Cousins was 14 to 32.
Yeah, it's going to be like that all year. It's not going to change. He's never going to. They are after 2 weeks.
He can be expected to be around 60%. I mean, it's not going to be 14.
No, it's not going to be 14 to 32, but I don't think we're ever going to get into like 75, 70% territory, except for maybe an outlier game here or there.
I think it was like 8 for 10 the first week, which is kind of outlier.
Right, it's outlier that way, and they didn't even have to. Yeah, exactly right. I mean, they didn't even have to really play offense the first week because Atlanta set them up with so many good positive situations. But this is my concern with the Vikings offense on that side of the ball. You know, first off, Kirk Cousins, both of his interceptions were stupid as hell. I mean, I just can't say it any other way. I don't know what to say. The first one down the middle, I know the play he's running, okay? He got fooled by the coverage. He threw a ball into what it would be a cover 2 concept. Gruden, we called it a bullseye, right? Where you kind of like cover 2, you're trying to high-low the weak side linebacker against like a Tampa 2 or a cover 2 defense. Well, he got fooled because they kind of showed 2 deep safeties. They rolled to a single safety, and he thought he was going to have like the middle of the field open. And no, Darnell Savage, the middle safety, got his hand in there, popped it up in the air, interception. You saw the second interception when he's down on the goal line, 1st and goal.
Yeah.
From what was it, the 3 or 4 yard line? And to roll out to the right and from basically the 21-yard line as you're running backwards to try to throw the ball into the back, like a 30-something yard throw off your back leg.
Something you do on 3rd or 4th down when you're down a couple scores.
I mean, I would expect Josh Allen to have done that last year.
Right.
And I'm not even sure he would have done that. Okay, yeah, he probably would have done it. All right. But also, he has a howitzer for an arm compared to. I just can't believe Kirk Cousins did that. You know, they fought so hard to get back into the game, and there to have that That was just really stupid, for lack of a better phrase. But I worry about their pass offense, Paul.
Yeah,
it's deep shots and running the ball. That's all they can do.
I have it circled right here. It's the one thing I have highlighted for your notes. It said Minnesota's pass offense is not creative or special.
No, it's not.
I didn't expect to see that 2 weeks ago, based off the fact that Gary Kubiak is there.
Yeah.
I think Kevin Stefanski is a bright young mind as well.
Sure, right. I know. But, Kubiak, I questioned it even at his time in Denver a little bit, too. I started to see it going there. And Kubiak hasn't really grown much since the 2012 offense I saw with the Houston Texans. It was still a lot of the same plays. Now, the beauty of Kubiak is he brings the Shanahan run system with him, and they have certainly improved in that aspect, as you see. And Dalvin Cook is special.
Excellent so
He's
far.
Special.
What would you like to see them do, based off the personnel they have?
Okay, so here's the other thing I'll throw to you, too. Who's their third receiver? Right. It's Chad Beebe. I mean, all I do is watch football.
Right.
And I even was like, wait, who's this? Oh, wait, that's Chad Beebe. That's right. So it is all they have at receiver is Diggs and Thielen.
Right.
Right? So I think really, ultimately, hey, obviously they got to get a little more creative with finding some place for the tight end. Their second-round pick, Irv Smith out of Alabama, at tight end. They got to get him the ball. They got to find someone to distribute the ball to other than Diggs and Thielen. But I do think that they're going to be a little bit in the, hey, no, what you are to me is like you better run the football and you better throw comebacks and deep outs, hope people play 8 in the box to stop the run, and you take some shots down the field, and Kirk Cousins throws for like 58% this year. I think that's where it's really kind of looking to shape up to me right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Based off of what I remember from Gary Kubiak and what he did with the run game and reach left, reach right, way around.
Right.
With the talent that Dalvin Cook has, I mean, it seems
it
to
can
me,
work.
even if he hasn't changed that much in 2012,
right.
it plays right into what he wants to do with misdirection and dragging guys across the field.
Definitely,
and just playing the other side of the coin here, even if you don't know who the third receiver is, based off of that scheme, and the running game is good, shouldn't it be able to work pretty well?
Well, yeah, it can. It can work. I mean, it can work. But the problem is when the running game, and even this game, he got her 154 yards rushing.
Yeah.
But 75 were on one carry. So then he had 19 for, 79 yards? 90, so they didn't gash them throughout the game. And you're going to play some defenses that are going to be able to play run defense and slow that down. So the bootleg will lose its luster in that as well. They just need to find another avenue to be creative or figure out a way to move the ball offensively. I don't know what that's going to be, but they're going to have to go to the drawing board, back to the drawing board a little bit because I just don't think they can continue just to rely on just those two guys in the pass game week after week.
Another film deep dive coming up in a little bit, Eagles and Falcons.
Yep.
Looking forward to that one. But before we get there, some more. Give me the headlines based off of this game. So what's your headline? Patriots and Dolphins.
Man, teacher was teaching.
I guess so, right?
Right?
And maybe even backed off a little bit.
I mean, I guess. He definitely backed off. I mean, you're right. They could have scored 73 if they wanted to.
As much as I would like the headline to be about the Patriots and Tom Brady's terrific, and you said that you would move them up from 9 into the top 5, somewhere in there now, the Dolphins are playing like... And
they're horrible.
Date myself a little bit here,
but
back in the early 90s when we used to play Northwestern...
Right.
That's what it looks like. When it was going to be 46-14 or 56-7 or something. That's college. Like that sort of thing is expected from the top of the conference down to the bottom.
Right.
How is this happening in the NFL?
Total flipping of the roster. Coaches who are inexperienced and they're finding their footing as far as being a head coach, or Chad O'Shea, first-time play caller.
But 102-10.
102-10. Now. They did play two of the better teams in the AFC, so we'll say that. But I know there's really no excuse. I got nothing for you. The biggest thing is the roster wasn't that good when he took over. Mm-hmm. They've made it worse because they're trying to flip over.
Yeah.
Whether they're tanking for Tua, or I forgot the phrase they used for Justin Herbert in Oregon, busting for Justin, right? Thank you for Pete in my ear there. And then Florio is even trying to say he thinks that they're really doing a 2-year tank to get Dexter Lawrence.
What?
Yeah, which I don't know if I'm buying. First off, if you have 2 really bad years, Trevor Lawrence of Clemson. If you have 2 really bad years, you might not see Trevor Lawrence walk in the door for that third year of the draft. Right.
If you have one.
So, right. I mean, he's going to be, you're right. If they go 1-15 this year, the pressure's going to be on next year to see marked improvement. But, yeah, they stink.
It just stands out, like, the effort. Every now and then in December, if you're keeping an eye on a game with a team that's won a couple games, you can come in Monday and be like, did you see, fill in the blank.
Yeah.
Looked like they didn't even care. Like, you don't see this in September very often.
No,
at all.
You do not. Well, because they have some veteran players who know what's up, and that's scary.
Jeez. Yeah.
Okay, that's scary. You got the Patriots who are hitting on all cylinders.
Oh, my gosh,
right?
defensively.
Yeah, you get Antonio Brown going early. I mean, hey, so what Gronk's not there? The Patriots are phenomenal. I mean, they got a great O-line. Now that you got Antonio at receiver to go along with, Edelman and Josh Gordon. You got Sony Michel, and then you said it, the defense. The secondary is the best in football. They can match up with anybody.
76-3 this year. And you go back to the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
86-9.
89-3. 89 to 6.
A lot of nines, a lot of sixes.
Yeah, either way, they're kicking ass the last 3 games. Kicking ass, shutting people out.
Right.
And consolation prize for the Dolphins.
Yeah.
You know what they get to go do this week?
What do they do?
Play the Dallas Cowboys.
Jeez.
Yeah. Have fun with that one.
Right.
21-point underdogs in Dallas.
NFL. Wow.
I would take Dallas right now. I wouldn't even think twice. I would go, not even. I mean, how does Miami score?
Right?
How do they score? I don't even know how it's possible.
All right, let's move on from Pat's Dolphins. Cards Ravens. LaMORE. How's that for a headline?
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
LaMORE.
Yeah.
La QB.
Right.
Okay? Not the running back, not the receiver. Lamar.
Unbelievable.
Yes.
I was at and spent a lot of time on the sideline of the last game that they lost last year.
Yeah.
Ravens-Chargers.
Yes.
And Lamar Jackson in that first half made some plays.
Yeah.
Exciting.
Right.
Could see some real potential.
Yep.
But he was 2 for 8 for 17 yards.
Right.
And I walked away from that game thinking, okay, this is a little ways away.
This is a big question.
You can understand. You can watch him, understand why they're invested in him.
Yep.
But this is going to take some time. So he goes from that to being the most efficient quarterback in the league.
It's amazing.
It's outstanding.
It is. I mean, and it does help to get a confidence builder to start the season against the Miami Dolphins, as we talked about. But still, I'm not taking anything away from it because it's the quality of the throws we're seeing too.
Right.
I mean, I'm not taking anything away from Brady yesterday, who diced them up, so I can't do that to Lamar Jackson for what he did last week too.
Right.
And it's the quality of the throws. It's about pinpoint accuracy. It's about little plays where they're backed up in their own end zone and he fits it into a tight window, in between 2 zoning linebackers and throws it to his tight end. It's pinpoint passing down the field. That's the other thing.
Late in the game.
Right.
Pinpoint down the field. I think it was 3rd and 10 or 3rd and 11, and he dropped that one at about 40 yards down the field.
Perfect coverage, right?
Yeah.
Is that Hollywood Brown? He threw it over the outside shoulder.
I don't remember who caught it.
I think it was.
But it was a perfect touch on a key 3rd down. I think at some point this spring, and I made this comment to a few people, I like Lamar Jackson too down the road. But at some point, you have to convert a series of 3rd and 7s, 3rd and 8s. You got to move the chains a few times a game on those. It's, from what I saw last year, it seemed like a really long way away. And I give him and the coaching staff a lot of credit.
A lot of credit. Again, another offense. And let's not forget he ran 16 times for 120 yards.
Right.
He showed Kyler Murray. He's like, you think you're dual threat. Not as dual as I am, okay? And Kyler Murray was phenomenal, too. I mean, again, he's a game changer because he's just got a special arm like a Lamar or Mahomes or Rodgers or whatever. He can just flick the ball. You just go, doesn't look like he's gearing up to throw it. What? That went 45 yards in the air.
Yeah.
And it's just a flick of the wrist. And that's what's impressive. But as we talk about with all great offenses, just like before, Baltimore is making you defend every square inch of the field. And they're making you play to one thing first, which I think is what every great offense do. What's your bread and butter? Your defense now has to stop. We're playing Baltimore. We're worried about the run game because everybody's huge as on their offensive line, and Lamar can run, and their running backs are all good. And so we got to worry about that. So they make you stop that first, and then they're able to do everything else off of it. And a lot of that is because of Lamar Jackson's skill set. And now we got Lamar Mahomes next week for a little battle in the AFC, right? Which was a great game last year, and I think it'll even be better this year.
And Lamar, 72%, 7 touchdowns, 0 picks. Can't wait to watch that one next week. This next one, we kind of go back to Jags, Texans.
Yeah, I mean,
what do you got?
defensive struggle.
Yeah.
Strugglesville, ugly offense. I mean,
I had no problem with the Jaguars going for 2.
Me neither. I get it. I have a
Seem to
problem.
be getting beat up a lot for it.
Yes, I have no problem with the 2. I will say if I was going to nitpick a little bit, I don't believe in the play call.
Yeah.
They haven't run the ball all game. Fournette's 15 for 47 yards.
Yeah.
One of those carries was for 14 yards, so that means he had 14 for 33 in the other carries. That tells you you're losing the battle up front. Minshew the Ginsu was starting to chop him up there the last drive to where I would have liked to just seen the ball in his hand one more time. He's a good athlete. Let's see if he scrambles around and makes a play like he did to score the touchdown or get them down there in the first place. But really close game. I expected this to be a close game. I think this is the big play that's really being overlooked. And again, I got questions about the Houston offense too, just as we've talked about. I mean, again, what is there? It's every play. It's Deshaun. It's the last play of the game. And it's every play is, it's DeAndre Hopkins. Oh, he's not there. Then where the hell do I go? And I'm going to scramble around and nothing's here and I'm not protected that well. And it's just concerning that way. But the biggest play of the game, because this was the touchdown drive, the touchdown drive for the Texans was 4 plays, 11 yards. Because Whitney Mercilus got a sack fumble and set up the short field for the Houston Texans, or we're going to have like a 9-6 finish or something like that, or a 12. I mean, it's going to be a field goal fest. But that one little mistake with bad protection on the left side of the offensive line and a younger quarterback, that really was the difference of the game.
Staying in the AFC South, Colts-Titans.
Man.
Looked like it was going to be a Tennessee win for much of this game.
I mean, the headline I guess I want to go with here is Brissett, for the second week in a row, delivering in the clutch. Now, I know they lost last week to the Chargers, but he did leave them on a game-tying drive to send it into overtime. Those are my questions, the clutch factor with Brissett. And then the other thing is, holy hell, Adam Vinatieri. I mean, that's the 2 things that jump out to you.
Yeah.
2 extra points missed yesterday, had 2 field goals and an extra point missed last week. He's had 5 missed kicks. I don't know. We thought we might hear a retirement thing
Haven't heard today.
No, because I think the Colts are probably doing their best to talk him to stay and keep playing because they're going, well, we don't know what's on the street. We got more faith that you'll straighten it out than we do just picking up some hobo off the street and thinking he's going to kick it between the 2 sticks. So there you go again. Really, I guess where I would want to start here, and I'm not going to lie, didn't see a ton of this game. Just saw, you're trying to watch 10 games at a clip. But I would just say I still got questions about that Tennessee offense, right? What is it? The passing offense, not that special.
He's been better than.
Been better.
I think it's been encouraging for him.
It is. It's encouraging. There's no question. But, last week they got the turnovers. They got a 75-yard screen pass. They found A.J. Brown on a crosser. He broke a bunch of plays. It was big plays like that. Colts are a sound, well-coached defense with some talent. They didn't let those big plays happen, really. And they had a hard time, I just thought, every time I watched the game on TV, orchestrating and putting drives together to stay on the field. I mean, 1 for 10 on third down, you're struggling if you can't, improve those numbers. There, on the other side, Jacoby Brissett, 7 for 14 on third downs. So that's a big difference in the game. And, of course, one team's on the field more and having to deal with more pressure because of that quarterback on third downs.
I just heard Frank Reich had a press conference, and Adam Vinatieri is not retiring.
There you go. They talked him out of it.
Didn't want to go look for a hobo.
No, exactly. The hell with the hobo. We'll go with this guy who's just cold, and he'll figure it out. Right.
Snap out of it.
Yeah.
All right, Chargers-Lions. What's your headline there?
Oh, gosh.
With the Lions finding a way to win.
Finding a way to win.
Finding a way to lose.
I mean, looked like the Chargers that we saw 2017 and prior, right? Yeah. Whether it's the stupid interception by Phillip Rivers, whether it's the 2 touchdowns that got called back, and then to further that, they fumble the ball on that same. So they score 2 touchdowns, gets called back. Eckler dives in the end zone, fumbles before he crosses the goal line. Detroit gets the ball. And that was like an old school, this is the Chargers and how we find a way to lose a football game. I mean, that's really what it looked like. As far as Detroit goes, listen, their defense is not super talented. They have good size. They can stop the run game. But I think the thing I saw is I saw a few plays from Matthew Stafford, and Kerryon Johnson's a weapon at the running back position, whether it's the run game or the screen game.
So the Lions maybe 1-1.
1-1.
Enough to be hanging around there in the NFC North.
Yeah, 1-0-1.
1-0-1.
Yeah, because they blew the first game and got the tie, remember? To the Cardinals.
That's right.
So they're they're undefeated.
They
Lions.
haven't lost.
Can you preface that correctly, please?
I think of these ties.
Yeah,
it's
a loss.
Years past. I think of it as a loss.
It is a loss. I want to be like, when you tie, I'm
Lions
like, yeah, you kind of lost.
The unbeaten Lions.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Ready for another deep dive?
You know it. Let's do it.
Falcons offense, Eagles defense. This was an awesome game.
Oh, you know what? I got to read first. I got to do a read.
This is what happens when you let me take the.
Yeah, it's okay. Don't worry. Peter King podcast. We got to give the Peter, the king of all Peters, his due justice. Football Morning America column each Monday. Come on, everybody knows that. If you don't know that, you're living under a rock. All right. I mean, it's only the most famous football column there is out there. And then he does his Football Morning in America mini podcast as well. Okay. Got a new full podcast each Wednesday. And then Tuesdays, it's a three-way, okay? It's me, Florio, and Peter, okay? It's one young guy sandwiched between two old guys, all right? That's all I can say.
I got to see that.
Yep, like that visual. But he'll be on tomorrow with me and Mike, or if you're listening to this on a Tuesday, it is today. He'll be on there. But Peter King podcast, check it out. Peter's the man. He always got great guests and great knowledge of just about everything in football.
Great sell.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was nice.
I like the Peter.
Film Deep Dive.
Film Deep Dive.
Yeah, I prematurely went to it, but now it's
we're
ready.
good. We're ready to go.
Atlanta, Philadelphia, both 1-1. Falcons win 24-20. How about we start Falcons offense, Eagles defense?
Yep.
You good there?
I'm good there. Let's do it.
I want to go back up to what I remember about our conversation last week about Eagles, Redskins, Eagles offense. I'm sorry, the Eagles defense.
Right.
There we go.
Right.
Make sure I get it straight.
You're good, right?
And you said it. The first thing you brought up, I read it in your notes, Jim Schwartz too aggressive right away with the defense.
Right.
So now, a week later, it wasn't early.
Yeah.
It was late.
It was some
aggressive.
sprinkled in early, too, but they got lucky and hung on by a thread that they didn't make some connections.
Right.
But you're right. Late in the game, it burned them.
Yeah.
This is my number one concern with this team on the defensive side of the ball. Because listen, I like a sporadic aggressiveness. Oh, we haven't shown this blitz, or we haven't all out blitzed, this quarterback all game long. I'm all for it. What's that?
But they had shown.
But they had shown it.
A lot.
Exactly. And this is Matt Ryan, and this ain't his first rodeo. And even you watch it on film, and now where I'm specifically talking about the last play for the Atlanta Falcons when they were down, and they throw a screen pass to the left for Julio Jones, and then he runs for a 54-yard touchdown. As soon as they broke the huddle, he kind of located the defense, and he switched the play right away. They came out in an empty formation. There was 3 receivers to the right, 2 to the left, and he saw an alignment that he had already seen 4 or 5 times already, okay? And just for all those out there, normally you don't all-out blitz quarterbacks that are as experienced as a Rodgers, a Matt Ryan, a Tom Brady. You just don't do it because you're going to get burned eventually. They're going to see it and either find the right matchup or get into the right play and just screw that call over. And what he did was got into the most perfect play call for that. Oh, all-out blitz? Great. You want to send 6 people right at me? Well, I got one-on-one over here to the left with my 2 receivers, and you're playing a little off of Julio Jones. I'm going to throw him a quick pass. The tackle's going to come down and kick out the guy defending him, and he's going to go up the alley, and there's all she wrote. Mm-hmm. So it is my worry with this football team. Just like this is how they got themselves in a hole in week 1 because it was just a little too aggressive, leaving their corners in some vulnerable positions. And really in their other deep touchdown you saw, and I think it was it Calvin Ridley? I'm pretty sure it was Calvin Ridley on the post down the middle, right? Okay, it wasn't aggressive. It wasn't aggressive here. They were playing quarter, half coverage, right? So Darby had 1 quarter. The safety, I can't remember who it was at this time. It was number 42. If somebody wants to bail me out of jail with that, I'm going to I think it was. I'm just going to get it sure. It was Andrew Sendejo, who's there from the Minnesota Vikings.
Yep.
He's the safety to that side. He's playing quarters coverage. And then the other side, because Julio is over there, they were playing like cover 2, putting a safety over the top of Julio. Well, they had run this coverage a few times too. And as you know, you played quarterback. When a team plays quarters, you know that if you run anything in front of the safety in the middle there, in this case Sendejo, he's going to sit a little. And it basically becomes like one-on-one coverage on the outside with no safety in the middle of the field. And there was Ronald Darby, 8-10 yards off, having to cover Calvin Ridley, and I just don't care. You can bring Deion Sanders back. He's just not going to stop that.
Right.
It's just too hard. You know, they need to either change the technique of how they play Ronald Darby in that situation. But again, called that, I think, a few too many times in the first half, too, to where they were expecting it. And now Matt Ryan, I've seen quarter, half a few times. I have a post this time. I'm just going to look to the left a little, and then I'm coming back to that post for the home run. And that was big.
It was almost like that big sack that Zendejo had. You mentioned at safety. He had, like, late in the game, he came through
right through the middle.
A very aggressive blitz.
Yes.
And everybody's celebrating on the sideline.
Well, they had the interception the one time in the all-out blitz. So, again, Jim Schwartz won some plays. I don't want to take any credit from his aggressiveness.
Won a lot of them.
He won a lot of them.
Right.
Exactly right.
But in the end, the chess match.
The chess match
was won by Matt Ryan.
They won by Matt Ryan and the Atlanta Falcons. Yeah. Anything jump out to you? I mean, Matt Ryan's all 3 interceptions were really stupid.
Right.
I mean, just again, for the second week in a row, I just go, damn. You know, he made some bonehead ones in Minnesota.
Yeah. The one in the end zone, tell me if you saw it this way as well.
Right.
And I'm looking glass half.
Yeah, I get you. I know what you're going to say here.
But when you get that close to the goal line, everything is right there, and someone sneaks out, I almost got the feeling that he never saw him. Like the interception in the end zone to the linebacker. Like he didn't even know that he was there until the ball is like 1 inch out of your hand. Like we've all had that happen.
Definitely have. And I think it was Nathan Jerry, right, number 47, who got there, linebacker, who got some good depth on his job. I think you're right. I think he saw the tight end one-on-one, and he goes, ooh, my guy's big. I'm going to try to throw it soft and high over the top.
Yeah.
You know, okay, if you're going to do that, though, don't try to, like, do a lob alley-oop pass, like kind of drive it through the target, right? Like drive it to where if it goes off of his hands, it just goes high and off into the back of the end zone out of bounds, right? That's why the New England Patriots have a rule. Throw it high in the back, low in the front for those very reasons. But, yeah, that, and also just know your players. I mean, it's one thing if that's like Gronk or, you know, Travis Kelce going down the middle. It wasn't exactly that. But that interception, you know, the in-cut he threw, I think it was right before the half or whatever, to his left side. He was way late, threw it behind. And then what's the other one? Oh, and then, of course, the all-out blitz that he threw where he was just came up way short throwing to Julio Jones on a go route.
What grade would you give him?
Oh, I would probably give him a B+ nonetheless because he hung tough. I mean, he had people around him.
I was hoping to give him a C because I could come back with the B.
You want him?
Because I thought there was a lot of good.
Yeah, there is a lot of good. There really is. And again,
but you see those interceptions. I think a lot of people would say, "Oh, he didn't play that well."
No,
there's a lot of plays you want back, but he pulled it back together. And made some tremendous not only throws, but with the recognition at the end.
Definitely did some things mentally that are huge, right? And that only a few guys in football are really going to get to, and that's the specialness too. Added to the fact, Paul. I mean, I'm going to sit here and continue to defend Matt Ryan a little bit. I mean, O-line's not that good.
Right.
Run game stinks.
Devontae Freeman. And you brought this up last week. It made my eyes go right to it based off of listening to you when we were sitting right here a week ago. 11 carries, 22 yards.
It's over.
Right?
It's over. I don't mean to be like, you know, Dr. Death or Doomsday here, okay? But it's over. Like, he's no longer the Devontae Freeman we once remember or the guy we saw shooting through the gap in the Super Bowl against the New England Patriots and ripping off 40-yard runs. You know, he's just gotten to that point in an NFL running back's career where he's taken a beating. He's had some injuries. He's not a real big guy to begin with, and he runs like he's Ezekiel Elliott.
Right.
And I just think it's caught up to him, and he's certainly lost a step there.
On the other hand, how nice is it to have 2 receivers who go over 100 yards from Matt Ryan? We've kind of been a theme here throughout when we're talking about offensively.
Right.
Having more than one guy that can do that.
They are studs, and they pose some definite matchup nightmares because, I mean, we know Julio's the man, but Calvin Ridley's he's a budding superstar. Other
side, Eagles offense, Falcons defense. I'm going to start the way I finished with Matt Ryan. What grade would you give Carson Wentz for his performance last night?
Gosh. It wouldn't be as good as Matt Ryan's, even though he did just some absolute magical things at the end. But I would probably give him like a C+.
You're going to drop him into the C's.
I am. I think so for this one.
Biggest
reason. Over-aggressive. Took some bad sacks, threw some balls where I want to go, ooh, some people are open. You didn't need to try to force a seam into coverage and things like that.
What was over aggressive?
I mean, just even like I just think of like the seam route to Aguilar when the guy gets hit in the end zone. He just had a few plays at times where I went, okay, there's shorter completions. You don't always have to go for like, you know, just the hammer shot, all right? The 2 interceptions, I mean, way too over aggressive. He threw the first interception. he's like falling and like going to his right as someone's dragging on him, and he tried to throw the ball like he was going to throw a 60-yard go route down the sideline.
But he made a play like that at the end.
He
of the game
did,
too.
but it wasn't 60 yards down the field.
Like 15,
you know,
yeah.
and then he throws another interception. And I think it was the third quarter, or maybe it was the late second quarter. I mean, he's fading to his left, and he's got a little like out and up on the right side, and he's got people around him again. And he's going to try to throw like a 50-yard pass as he's fading away from it with somebody kind of in his face. And I just want to go, those are the plays like he can't do it.
But he also threw a touchdown. It wasn't
That was amazing.
fading to his left, backing up, and
Running
turned
to
his
the
shoulders,
left and then just threw a laser.
fit it in there.
Yes.
So, I mean, what's yay? You've got special ability. Nice job taking advantage.
Right.
And when is it too aggressive?
Okay, well, but what he did, what you're talking about in the end zone, right, is
Yeah.
realistic. Like, okay, he got out. There was nobody around. He got himself free of all danger to where now I can set up. And if I want to throw my 100-mile-per-hour fastball, I can do it.
He wasn't that free, though.
But he was free enough to set up and let it go. Where the other ones, I'm telling you, he had people hanging on him, and he couldn't even get all his body into the throw. Again, he's the man. I love Carson Wentz.
Right.
He can physically do things that only a few people in football can do, but he's just got to gauge it a little bit better at times. He's going to get somebody hurt, okay, with, like we saw Zach Ertz down the middle or Nelson Aguilar down the middle, you know, because it's always squeezing it in there. I worry about him getting hurt. A little like Deshaun Watson. Every play is the last play of the game when he's got people around him.
I was at that game at the Coliseum a couple of years ago when he had his knee blown out, diving toward the end zone, running to his right, and he ran it. And part of me is like, that is a stud. That's the courage.
I know.
That's a gamer.
Yeah.
And part of me is like, did you not learn anything when you lost all that time for blowing out your knee? It was the exact same
play, right?
Yeah.
I know. No, and I think he's just a big soldier, and he just goes, screw it. You know, he's one of those guys, just like I was having this conversation with guys at lunch. I mean, NFL players have a remarkable ability to use these two words. F it.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm about to get smashed. I'm going to dive. F it.
Right.
Oh, it's a tight window. F it. I'm going to throw it in there.
Love him for it.
I love him for it, too.
Yeah.
I mean, he made that amazing play. He's getting tackled, and you think his knee's on the ground, and he throws a 20-yard in-cut over the middle, like on the money. Or, you know, the play at the end of the game, the 4th and 15, amazing play by him. And he changed the
Which
play.
one are you talking about? Where he was falling down?
No, remember he threw basically like a jump ball down the middle to Nelson Aguilar?
Yeah.
Well, he there, just for a little insight on the play, it's the Seattle scheme. Keanu O'Neal's in the middle of the defense as kind of the down safety. If you remember back at the play, he whispers something to Darren Sproles.
Okay.
And he basically tells Darren Sproles, which I think is just run a seam route or run right at Keanu O'Neal. Because he knew, he knew what coverage they're in. Mm-hmm. And they had all go special. They had all go routes. 3 receivers to the right. Aguilar's running like which amounts to be that inside go route. It's like a deep cross, basically, but a go route.
Right.
And Keanu O'Neal's job is to cover that, but also beware of the back coming out of the backfield. So he sent the back right at Keanu O'Neal. And Keanu O'Neal saw Darren Sproles coming at him, and he was already 10 yards off the ball. And he's going, oh, gosh, he might throw it to Darren Sproles, and I got to make the tackle. But meanwhile, Nelson Aguilar snuck behind him, and that was unbelievable. Not only throw, but just great insight, I thought, altogether. Disappointed with the Eagles, though, offensively. I mean, hey, they lost to Deshaun Jackson and Alshon Jeffrey. Mm-hmm. That was a huge blow. Their offensive line got pushed around. I mean, there was people around Carson Wentz all night long. And playing on that surface in that stadium against that front seven, which is fast as hell, that can catch you by surprise. You know, the last few times they played Atlanta, it's been on grass field up in Philadelphia, which plays to their advantage. But, I think that was the big thing that jumped out to me. And I'm just trying to see here if there's anything else. Really, I kind of think I hit on it. The speed of the Falcons defense, I do think, caused the Eagles problems. They were smart in not staying in their Seattle defense overly time after time after time. They had a few times where it looked like it was going to be Seattle defense, ball snap. They went to cover 2.
Just quick cliff notes on Seattle defense. When you say that, you mean?
I mean a 3-deep, we call it 3-deep, 3-deep press bail, basically. So it's always like 8 guys at the line of scrimmage. Mm-hmm. That's why Cam Chancellor is Keanu O'Neal for this defense, right? And the corners kind of play bump. They give you one jam on the line of scrimmage, but then they back off. Their job is to not let you beat them deep. I was just disappointed in the game plan a little bit. I didn't see any of the Seattle beaters that you've heard me talk about a whole lot. Didn't see any of that to where I want to go, man, there's just too much inventory out there to not run some of those plays at this point. And like I said, the injuries, to not have a Deshaun Jackson for a team that plays single safety when you're going to get a lot of one-on-one outside, that was huge. For Alshon Jeffrey and Deshaun Jackson, they're made for this type of game. So that was big. Let's also not forget they fumbled the freaking opening kickoff for the second half. That was huge. That put them in the hole 17-6. But either way, the Falcons were desperate and pulled it off.
You watch the rugby?
I do watch the rugby. Look at you telling me what I got to do. Very well done. I'm sitting here reading my notes still. Okay, so here we go.
Yes.
This is what we got coming up. Rugby World Cup. It begins Friday, September 20th through November 2nd. Okay? And it's from Japan. Got 20 countries in this. Okay? That's a long damn World Cup, first off. I just like to state that. September 20th and November 2nd. 20 countries, all 48 matches on NBC Sports Gold. Okay? And 22 of them exclusively on Gold. And if you're watching on YouTube, we got a little graphic up here to explain it better if you don't understand the way I talk or my reading. But USA in Pool C, okay? And then there's the dreaded group of death in rugby. England, France, Argentina, and Tonga? I hope I said that right. It's
right.
Tonga, right? Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's pretty damn good. Yeah. I mean, so they're telling me that's the group of death.
Right.
The English, the French, the Argentinians, and the Tongans.
Sometimes
and the Americans. They're all in this group death.
Sometimes they get to host the rugby.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen it?
I have.
Yeah,
I definitely. I will. If there's rugby on TV, I will stop for a second and watch.
The analyst Alex Corbacero.
Right.
We should definitely get him sitting right here sometime this season.
Yeah.
You'd
Get
like
him over here?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm down for that.
Great entertainment.
All right. Cool. I'm down for that. We'll do that in the off season.
Cool.
All right. Now we got one last thing. Okay. I got a rant about one thing.
This is titled, I checked the rule book.
I checked the rule book, which means I don't know if you heard me last week. I checked the rule book. Some of these offenses, you're allowed to go underneath the center and take a snap underneath the center.
A pet peeve of yours.
It is a pet peeve of mine because the good offenses. That's one of my issues. Going back to the Eagles film, every play shotgun.
Yeah.
Every play shotgun. Never got into the power running game. And let me say one more thing about the Eagles while we're there.
Yeah.
I don't think their running backs are very good either. Yeah, I'm just going to say it. You don't have to.
Better than Atlanta's?
Yes, they're better than Atlanta's, but I think there's a reason you've heard Philadelphia involved in Melvin Gordon trade talks because I think they realize they don't. If there's 6 yards to be had, the Eagles running backs get 6 yards. They're not going to get any more, and that's just not what really good running backs do.
If they had someone like Melvin Gordon, it would make
a difference.
So much better.
Right.
Yeah.
It would change their offense. But now we're going to go to
You just want to stand up and walk over to the board.
Oh, yeah. You ready for this, okay?
Am I good here?
You're good.
Watching? All right.
Just sit back and watch. You got any popcorn?
No.
Because this is really a pet peeve for anybody that's listened to any of my podcasts over the years, okay? This happened twice yesterday. And okay, you got this, John? You're saying it good? All right. Twice yesterday.
Yep.
Okay. First, there's two games. I'm going to give you two examples.
Yep.
Jimmy Graham, in this case, versus Daniel Hunter, okay?
Bad matchup.
Also happened with your man Noah Fant on Khalil Mack.
Yep.
What? Like, I checked the rule book, and tight ends are not franchise tackles. You don't ask them to pass block against the best pass rushers in football. I mean, that's just stupid as hell. There's no other way I can really explain it. And, what I always go back to is, WWBD, what would Belichick do, okay? He would not put his tight ends on the greatest pass rushers in football and go, I expect you to do this.
And this is more than just a chip ask.
This is a true one-on-one. You have the guy on the edge, full stupidity, right? And this is where it's like, I checked the rule book and okay, these are human beings. This is not a whiteboard, and it's not a piece of paper you hand them. Because this is what happens. They go, okay, how are we gonna block them if they bring this blitz? And they go, okay, yep, he'll take him, and he'll take him, and he'll go here, and he'll go here. And number 80, Jimmy Graham, who's famous for not being able to block anybody. Oh, yeah, all right, we got it accounted for, guys. We're good. It's no problem, guys. We're good. We got him blocked. It's good. It's Jimmy Graham on the board because I wrote the white line and the black line. He's going to block him. It's all good. All right, guys, we're good. Let's break the meeting. I mean, are you kidding me? Like, stop with that stupid shit, offensive coordinators. Please, stop. I mean, there's no chance. There's more to it than just X's and O's and drawing on the board. At some point, the human aspect becomes real. On Sunday at, it was 1 o'clock p.m., and it was Jimmy Graham, who's not that great of a blocker, trying to block Danielle Hunter, and guess what happened? Oh, sack, really, shocker. Noah Fant blocking Khalil Mack. Guess what happened?
Who came closer? Who came closest to pulling it off? Noah Fant or Jimmy Graham?
They both got abused. Like
nobody was even close?
No, nobody was even close. I guess if I had to give a little, I think maybe Jimmy Graham got a little bit more of Danielle Hunter. But this has got to end. It's a total West Coast offense thing, too. That's the other thing I see more than not. I don't see some of the, like I said, the New England, you're not going to see like the Buffalo Bills, some people that run that scheme. They're just not going to do that because realistically, that's stupid. It'd be like saying, hey, Danielle Hunter, when they split out Jimmy Graham at receiver, can you go out there and covering him? It's almost equally as stupid.
Right.
Yeah, oh, no, go get on an island, your defensive end, and cover Jimmy Graham in his element. Why would you ask now Jimmy Graham to get in his element and you expect him to get sacked? This is the ultimate duh thing to me. And that is what I say. I check the rule book, and you can come up with a new game plan in the meeting, okay? Because that one's not going to work.
Almost be good if he just set him free and you threw it hot.
I mean, yes.
Don't even count on him to slow him down.
I mean, he's not.
Right?
He's not. And what happens a lot of times, too, it ends up like there was only like a 4-man rush, and they got 5 offensive linemen blocking 3 defensive linemen for no reason, and then they got a tight end blocking a pass-catching tight end.
Some kind of automatic scheme where the tackle kicks out and helps him, maybe.
Yeah, something, please.
Yeah.
Okay, I can't talk anymore. I am talked out for the day.
That's it.
All right?
It's over.
We are done. I hope everybody enjoyed that. Like I said, Wednesday, we'll have the big on. Phil Simms will be here. We'll get him on, do deep dive into a number of games. I'm going to watch as many games as I can over the next, 48 hours. But that is our Monday recap podcast. Hope you enjoyed it.
I'll see you on Wednesday.
The man.
I think I got it.
He's doing a double header, baby.
Yeah.
You and me, baby.
Should be fun.
But we're done. For Johnny McDonald on the camera. Oh, and he's got his flannel shirt on. I'm so happy about that.
80 degrees out.
Peace out, homies. We're out. Chris Simms Unbuttoned. You know where to find me. Yo, what's up? Come on, man. Subscribe on YouTube to Chris Simms Unbuttoned Podcast. I need you. Please hit the subscribe button, please.